In this video, I'm going to show you how you can resolve a relational data store upgrade error by restoring a relational data store backup. In this example, I'm upgrading ArcGIS Enterprise 11.1 to 11.5. I've already upgraded Portal, the Portal web adapter, ArcGIS server, and the ArcGIS server web adapter. Then we finally need to upgrade the ArcGIS data store, the relational data store that is. Here you can see upon trying the upgrade, it errored. You'll notice that there is a tile cache here. You can ignore that. That is just a known issue. The tile cache was never installed on this server, so we can ignore that. In this example, I'm just upgrading the relational data store. So how can I get around this issue? One way to do that is by restoring the database backup from the relational data store. So let's see if I have any backups. By default, the relational data store will back itself up every 4 days. So taking a look at my ArcGIS Data Store directory, within here I do have a backup directory where the backups will be stored by default. And in my relational folder, there's a DB backup. As you can see, I have at least one backup. But say, for example, I did not actually have a backup here, or it was dated, say it was from 4 days ago, I'd have some newer content. I always recommend that you do create a WebGIS DR before doing any upgrade. And within that, you can actually grab the relational data store backup. So jumping to my WebGIS DR here, as you can see, I have one created. Using a utility such as 7-zip, I can extract this here. So I extract the contents here to my local disk, and you'll see that there is a data store directory here. And if I drill down far enough, we'll see there's that relational folder, the DB backup, and I could grab that from here. So what files do I actually need for the backup? Jumping back to my data store directory, I'll show you. What I'll need is first is the SIG file. I want to copy this as well as that DB backup directory. So I'm going to copy these two directories and place it in another directory because I'm going to uninstall ArcGIS Data Store completely. So I'll jump back to my C drive. Under my backups folder, I'm going to make a copy of that there. Once that's copied, I can actually go ahead and uninstall the entire application. So I'm going to go to my control panel and uninstall the data store. So here we can see the ArcGIS Data Store 11.5 was upgraded, but the post install failed. I'm going to go ahead and uninstall this application here. So we'll give this a few minutes and allow that to uninstall. Okay, the ArcGIS Data Store application has been uninstalled. Let's jump it back here. We can go ahead and clean up some directories. We are going to reinstall the ArcGIS Data Store application. So first thing we're going to do is just delete this ArcGIS Data Store. I have my backups from there. As you can see, I went ahead and copied that to my backups folder that I created here. And just to show you real quick where you would get these files from the WebGIS DR again is I can go to my extraction of my WebGIS DR, and those same files will reside there. And the relational folder, here's my DB backup and that SIG file that I would need. So I'll go ahead and clean up these directories here. And also under the program files, I'm going to delete that data store directory. Those directories are gone. I'm going to go ahead and do a fresh install of the 11.5 data store, the one that I am upgrading to. So we'll go ahead, we'll run this as an administrator. And we'll run through this installer very quickly. Again, I'm just upgrading the relational data store. That would be the only one I need. Specify my service count information. And we will give a few minutes for the ArcGIS Data Store 11.5 to reinstall. All right, the ArcGIS Data Store application has finished installing. We're going to click Finish here. And as you see, the post configuration will open up in your browser here, but this is something I do not want to do. I don't want to configure it now. I'm going to go ahead and just close it in my web browser. What I want to do is actually open up a command prompt. So I want to open up a command prompt as an administrator. And I'm going to navigate to the tools that come with the ArcGIS Data Store application. So under my program files, ArcGIS Data Store tools, I'm going to do a cd command to this location. And then there is a restore data store command that I can go ahead and execute to restore that backup that I copied. Now, as you heard, I'm upgrading from 11.1 to 11.5, so my backups are stored at 11.1, so I can do earlier releases of the data store and restore them successfully to a later release of the data store. So I'm restoring my 11.1 backup to my 11.5 ArcGIS Data Store instance. So running the restore data store command will actually configure it for me as well. So there's a few parameters we need to specify here. So we're going to do the relational data store, my target backup. So going to File Explorer here, go to that backups directory. In my DB backup folder, I need to get the name of this backup folder here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and that's going to be my target. Next is my source location, which is just going to be not this actual folder here, but just the backups here. So you need to just reference where that sync file is. So I'm just going to copy C backups. And then where I want to store my ArcGIS Data Store directory. So I'm going to keep that on my C drive. And then the server that I want to configure this with, so my ArcGIS server instance. Colon 6443. And then my ArcGIS server username and password. And I can go ahead and hit enter here to restore that backup and have it configured with my ArcGIS server instance. So let's go ahead and click enter here. Should get a prompt whether I want to proceed. I'll go ahead and click yes. And we'll go ahead and let this run. So the operation completed successfully. We can go ahead and take a look under my C drive. I should see that ArcGIS Data Store directory created here, which we can see. And let's check a few other things. I'm going to go ahead and jump to ArcGIS Server Manager. Under my Site tab, we can validate that that data store is validating successfully. So to configure it with the ArcGIS server instance. And then we'll also check to make sure that some of the feature services are working in Portal as well. So here we got the green check, everything looks good there. Jumping to Portal, here we can see some of those hosted services. As you can see, we can click on some of these and just take a look at some of the data. So we can see that the data is returning successfully, and then we can open this up in the map viewer and see that it is drawing as well. So hopefully you found this solution helpful. So if you ever do get an error when you're doing an upgrade of your ArcGIS Data Store to a later release, you can try this of uninstalling it and then restoring from the backup to keep things moving. Thank you.